And we did the last video where I revealed that, and lo and behold, the CIA released this video a couple of hours afterwards, which of course is a explanatory video for the military-industrial complex, so they realise how FUCKED they are. And luckily Trump was at NATO, saw the NATO filth and panic.
Superhumans would then colonize Mars and begin to colonize the universe. So we're talking about putting the brain into a computer or a computer into a brain.
The most advanced AI system ever built isn't just reshaping our world. It's completely shattering our understanding of reality itself. In a stunning development that's sending shockwaves through the scientific community, an artificial intelligence system designed to unify physics has uncovered something far more profound, compelling evidence that our entire universe is a sophisticated computer simulation. And the implications are so staggering that world-renowned physicist Dr. Michio Kaku made an unprecedented statement during a live broadcast that has scientists around the globe buzzing, "What this AI found should not be seen." This isn't science fiction. This is happening right now. The AI system, dubbed Project Genesis, was never programmed to look for evidence of a simulated universe. It was tasked with analyzing vast datasets from quantum experiments and cosmological observations to find patterns human scientists might have missed. What it discovered instead were anomalies that defy natural explanation, digital fingerprints woven into the very fabric of reality. But before we reveal exactly what these fingerprints are and why they've left even skeptical scientists stunned, you need to understand just how profound this moment could be for humanity. The AI that went too far. Project Genesis wasn't designed to upend our understanding of reality. This cutting-edge AI system was created by a consortium of leading physicists and computer scientists with a more conventional goal: to unify quantum mechanics and gravity, the holy grail of modern physics.
Which of course I've done, and they know I've done it, so they thought an AI which is thick as two short planks and has been going down the wrong road for 100 years with all its data could surpass the God Emperor. I think not.
Hale's supercomputing platform, Project Genesis, analyzed mountains of data from particle colliders, space telescopes, and gravitational wave detectors. The team expected it might discover new particles or subtle astrophysical phenomena. Nobody anticipated it would find glitches in the universe itself.
Is that a possibility? Well, I think not. Because of the fact that quantum mechanics...
That was Dr. Michio Kaku's position before these discoveries. Like many physicists, he dismissed the simulation hypothesis as interesting philosophy, but not serious science. Then...
As I say, we should relabel the world's physicists as the court jesters of the God Emperor, and have them with the funny little hats and the bells, and get the old mallets out and make them in hunchbacks.
Patterns that made no conventional sense. At first, we thought it was a bug, explained Dr. Elena Alvarez, one of the lead architects of the AI system. But as we dug deeper, we realized the AI had potentially uncovered something groundbreaking. What exactly did it find? 3 major anomalies that have left the scientific community reeling. First, hidden error-correcting code embedded within the mathematical structure of quantum physics. The same type of digital code computers use to detect and fix data errors. It's as if the laws of nature have software safeguards built into them. Second, a bizarre energy cliff in cosmic rays. Particles above a certain energy threshold abruptly stop appearing, Even more shocking, those that do reach this threshold scatter in grid-like patterns, exactly what would happen if space-time were made of discrete pixels. Third, the AI detected subtle irregularities in the cosmic microwave background radiation, the afterglow of the Big Bang, that resemble compression artifacts found in digital images and videos. Any one of these findings would be revolutionary. Together, they paint a provocative picture. Our reality shows hallmarks of an intentional computational design. If you're finding this hard to believe, you're not alone. But what happens next will change everything you thought you knew about our universe. Meta-laws and compiler settings. But the AI's discoveries went even deeper. Project Genesis didn't just find anomalies in our physical world. It began to reverse engineer what can only be described as compiler rules that seem to govern the fundamental constants of our universe. The speed of light, Planck's constant, the gravitational constant, these aren't just random values. According to Project Genesis, they appear to be precisely configured parameters. These values don't look natural. They look configured, explained one researcher associated with the project. It's as if someone deliberately set these constants to make our universe work a specific way. This revelation has led to a stunning speculation. Our universe behaves like software compiled from a source code. The laws of physics we observe aren't fundamental truth. They're the output of a deeper algorithm. Even more mind-bending is the might be editable variables in a simulation script. What we've always considered immutable laws of nature might actually be settings, values that could theoretically be adjusted by whoever or whatever is running the simulation. Dr. James Gates, a theoretical physicist who years ago discovered error-correcting codes in supersymmetry equations, found these results eerily familiar. It's as if the universe turbo boosted what we found in math and splashed it across reality for us to see. I'm thrilled and a bit spooked. The relationship between these constants has long puzzled physicists. They seem too perfectly calibrated to support life, a mystery often referred to as the fine-tuning problem. But if our reality is programmed, this fine-tuning suddenly makes perfect sense. Think about what this means. The universe isn't just mathematically describable. It's too neat, too elegant. That's not a coincidence. That's intentional design. If you've made it this far, you're probably wondering, what else did this AI discover? And
the big question is, who designed it? The God Emperor?
it should not be seen. But before we reveal that, if you're finding this as mind-blowing as we do, take a second to subscribe to our channel. We bring you the latest scientific discoveries you won't hear anywhere else every week. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell now. Compression artifacts in space-time. Perhaps the most visually compelling evidence uncovered by Project Genesis is what researchers are calling compression artifacts in space-time. Digital fingerprints that suggest our universe conserves computational resources just like streaming video does on your phone. The AI identified peculiar harmonic modulations in both the cosmic microwave background radiation and gravitational wave patterns. Modulations that look suspiciously like lossy compression algorithms used in digital media. These patterns are virtually identical to Fourier transform artifacts you'd find in compressed digital signals, explained one physicist reviewing the data. It's as if space-time itself is being compressed to save processing power. In areas of high cosmic activity, near black holes, neutron stars, and galaxy clusters, the detail and resolution appear extraordinarily precise, but in the vast, empty regions between galaxies, the AI detected a subtle but measurable decrease in the fidelity of space-time itself. More detail where needed, less where not, as one researcher put it. This discovery mirrors exactly how modern video games and virtual reality systems work, rendering high resolution only where the user is looking, while reducing detail in peripheral areas to conserve processing power. The implications are staggering. If our universe is optimizing its rendering based on observation, it would explain one of quantum mechanics' most puzzling aspects: why particles only take definite positions when they're observed. Even more telling, Project Genesis identified regions where time appears to slightly desynchronize or loop. Millisecond irregularities near pulsars and other high-energy astronomical objects. These temporal glitches resemble the frame rate drops that occur in simulation software when the computational load becomes too heavy. It's like catching the universe buffering, remarked a graduate student working on the project. When combined with the quantized energy levels in cosmic rays and the error-correcting codes in quantum equations, these compression artifacts form a consistent picture. Our reality appears to be running on some kind of computational architecture with finite resources. And that's not even the most disturbing part of what Project Genesis discovered. Rendering engine hypotheses. Building on these findings, Project Genesis proposed what scientists are now calling the rendering engine hypothesis, the idea that our universe operates like a sophisticated real-time rendering system, allocating its resources only where needed. That's Michio Kaku warning about AI's limitations. And he's right. AI systems can both reveal hidden patterns and distort reality. But what makes Project Genesis different is that it wasn't programmed to look for simulation evidence. It stumbled upon these patterns while trying to unify physics. And what it found aligns perfectly with quantum mechanics' most puzzling feature. Reality only seems to take definite form when observed. The double-slit experiment has baffled physicists for decades, explains one quantum researcher. Particles behave like waves of probability until measured, then suddenly collapse into definite positions. It's always seemed bizarre, until you view it as a rendering optimization. Just like a video game that only renders detailed graphics where the player is looking, our universe appears to define precise properties only where there's observation or high entropy. The AI identified resolution variants throughout the cosmos. Intergalactic voids, the vast empty regions between galaxy clusters, show measurably less detailed physics, behaving like lower bit-rate zones in the simulation. This could explain dark energy and dark matter. They might be placeholder physics or masked, unrendered regions that maintain the simulation's overall structure while saving computational resources. Think of it like streaming a movie, one physicist explained. The parts you're watching come in high definition, while the rest stays at lower quality until you look at it. The AI's analysis of quantum entanglement experiments provided further evidence. When two particles are entangled, changing one instantly affects the other, regardless of distance, a phenomenon Einstein called spooky action at a distance. Project Genesis found that this behavior mirrors how networked simulations handle linked objects, updating properties simultaneously regardless of virtual distance. If true, this hypothesis would fundamentally change our understanding of reality. We wouldn't just be in a simulation, we'd be in a dynamically rendered simulation that continuously adjusts its detail based on where consciousness is looking. But this revelation raises an even more profound question. If our universe is running on some kind of computational architecture, who or what is the programmer? And what happens if we become aware of the simulation?
The God Emperor.
Quantum drift and consciousness glitches. In what may be its most unsettling discovery, Project Genesis identified correlations between human consciousness and simulation artifacts, suggesting our minds might occasionally brush against the boundaries of the simulation itself. The AI analyzed thousands of EEG and fMRI scans from subjects in altered states of consciousness, deep meditation, psychedelic experiences, and even near-death experiences. What it found were neural patterns that coincide with what researchers call temporal drift, moments where time itself seems to glitch. Subjects consistently report time loops, déjà vu experiences, and synesthetic overlaps, where senses merge in ways that defy normal neurological explanation. These weren't just subjective reports. The AI detected measurable anomalies in brain activity that coincided with these experiences. Kaku's prediction about future technology takes on new meaning in light of these findings. Scientists now speculate that advanced consciousness uploading experiments might not just be creating digital copies of minds. They could be interfacing directly with the simulation layer of reality. What if consciousness itself is a bridge between the simulation and whatever lies beyond it? Asked one neuroscientist, reviewing the Project Genesis findings. These glitches might be moments where awareness temporarily extends outside the rendered environment. Hidden constant and algorithmic evolution. Perhaps most remarkable among Project Genesis's discoveries is what mathematicians are calling the hidden constant, a previously unknown universal value that underlies both gravity and quantum behavior. This constant isn't just mathematically elegant, it's optimized for data integrity and information compression in ways that seem deliberately designed rather than naturally occurring. It's the cosmic equivalent of pi, explained one mathematician, but it seems designed for information efficiency, not just natural physics. The AI's analysis extended to biology as well, identifying that certain non-coding DNA regions contain mathematical redundancies that mirror checksum algorithms used in computer systems to verify data integrity. Biology may be an algorithmic sandbox, evolution through logic, not randomness, suggested one researcher. The junk DNA we've puzzled over for decades might actually be versioning systems and error correction protocols. This could explain why life emerged with such computational precision and why evolution displays algorithmic efficiency rather than purely random mutation. Experimental path forward. With these extraordinary findings, scientists are now designing experiments to further test the simulation hypothesis. Project Genesis has outlined several promising approaches. First, a quantum decoherence stress test, pushing quantum systems to unprecedented levels of complexity to see if they show signs of computational strain or latency. Second, creating nested simulations, effectively simulating a simulation of our own reality to see if recursive nesting reveals limitations in the underlying engine. Third, developing paradox traps, experimental setups designed to force logical contradictions that might cause the simulation to reveal itself through error correction. Kaku's concept of quantum fact-checkers takes on new significance. They might serve as debugging tools for the universe itself, helping us probe the underlying code of reality. What kind of experiment would you run to test if this world is simulated? The clip that shook Michio Kaku. The most dramatic moment in this unfolding story came during a live-streamed science panel when Dr. Michio Kaku was presented with Project Genesis's findings. Known for his enthusiastic explanations of cutting-edge physics, Kaku initially approached the AI's results with measured analysis. But as the hosts revealed the details of what the AI had uncovered, his demeanor visibly changed. When shown the printout revealing error-correcting code embedded in physical constants alongside the cosmic ray energy cutoff pattern, Dr. Kaku paused, adjusted his glasses, and uttered the now infamous phrase, "What this AI found should not be seen." He elaborated that certain truths, once uncovered, are almost forbidden knowledge because they shatter our assumptions about reality. Kaku's long-standing advocacy for responsible AI development adds weight to his reaction. He's not someone who makes sensational claims, which is precisely why his response to these findings sent shockwaves through the scientific community. It's exactly what we'd expect to see if the universe were running on some sort of code, he said during the broadcast. He likened the discovery to finding a Windows operating system hidden within the laws of nature. What stunned Kaku most wasn't just the individual anomalies, but how they formed a coherent picture of intentional design. The error-correcting codes in quantum equations, the energy cutoff in cosmic rays that resembles pixel resolution limits, the compression artifacts in cosmic background radiation. Together, they paint a picture too consistent to dismiss. AI plus physics equals new era of cosmic hacking. Together, they paint a picture too consistent to dismiss. AI plus physics equals new era of cosmic hacking. If our reality truly is running on code, the next question becomes both thrilling and terrifying. Can we modify it? Kaku's reference to the Matrix takes on new significance in light of these discoveries. But unlike the movie, scientists aren't talking about escaping the simulation. They're discussing the possibility of hacking. Could we potentially mod the constants of nature? Might we someday resurrect minds via digital backups? Is it possible to access hidden layers of the simulation that current physics can't detect? These questions are no longer just science fiction speculation. Project Genesis has identified several theoretical approaches that might allow future civilizations to manipulate simulation parameters. Dr. James Gates, who found error-correcting codes in his equations years ago, speculates that if we're programs, as long as the program can be run again, death might not be final. Concepts once relegated to religion, resurrection, and afterlife, could take on new meaning in a simulated cosmos. Other researchers are exploring whether quantum computing might serve as an interface to the simulation's underlying code. If quantum computers operate on principles that bridge our reality with the simulation layer, they might eventually allow us to write new rules rather than just following existing ones. If you find these revelations mind-blowing, don't forget to subscribe. While Project Genesis's discoveries are groundbreaking, the idea that our reality might be simulated isn't entirely new. The simulation hypothesis has a rich scientific and philosophical history worth understanding. Philosopher Nick Bostrom formulated the simulation argument in 2003, suggesting that if advanced civilizations can run many ancestor simulations, it's statistically likely we're in one. His argument didn't prove we're in a simulation. It simply demonstrated that it's a logical possibility we should take seriously. Elon Musk famously stated there's a 1 billion to 1 chance we're living in base reality, effectively asserting he strongly believes we're in a simulation. Many tech leaders have embraced similar views, seeing reality as potentially hackable. Dr. James Gates made an early empirical discovery that hinted at this possibility when he found error-correcting codes in supersymmetry equations, the same digital codes that allow computers to detect and fix data errors. At the time, he said, I could no longer say people like Max Tegmark are crazy. Theoretical physics has also proposed concepts that align with the simulation idea. The lattice universe theory suggests space-time might be discrete rather than continuous. Quantum limits establish boundaries to what can be measured, and the Planck scale represents the smallest possible unit of measurement. Kaku's classification of civilization types provides context for how advanced societies might develop the capability to create, or discover, simulations. A Type 3 civilization with galaxy-spanning resources would likely have the computational power to simulate entire universes with physics indistinguishable from natural reality.
which of course is bollocks, because remember we showed a video where the mathematicians proved that computing power could not make a simulation to make a simulated universe, because it would take many more particles than were in the universe to build the computer in the first place. So obviously this simulation theory is total bollocks, and the CIA fuckwits, F-U-C-K wits, for Joshy, are barking up the wrong tree. But obviously it's not a simulation, it's Emperor-Tech, and these vermin have gone down the wrong road for 100 years, have suddenly found that they're in something they don't understand, and they've actually proved simulations can't be built to make universes. Watch previous video on spatialized, and the one where I commented on it. So obviously they're up shit creek without a paddle. They don't understand anything. As I say, they make my cameraman look like a super genius. But he has got the Lucy service.
Revolutionary is that they move beyond philosophical speculation into the realm of empirical evidence. For the first time, we have potentially testable indicators that our reality might indeed be constructed. Cultural and government reactions.
It can't be constructed because mathematicians have proved we haven't, or any alien civilization couldn't possibly build the hardware to run a simulation of the universe. And as before, this channel did a whole video on that. So it's not a simulation, it's something else.
The ripple effects of Project Genesis's discoveries have rapidly spread beyond scientific circles, triggering responses from government agencies, tech leaders, and the general public. Sources report that officials at NASA and the US Department of Defense have requested classified briefings on the findings. One unnamed official was overheard saying, "If there's a control room for our universe, we sure want to know who's in it." The security implications are obvious. If reality is programmable, access to that code would represent unprecedented power.
I wonder who's in control of that. I think it's the God Emperor. So CIA filth, no need to search. The God Emperor's in control, and you're my torture toys, filth.
Are reportedly establishing task forces to consider the strategic implications. Meanwhile, the public reaction has ranged from existential dread to hopeful fascination. Social media has exploded with hashtags like #RWeCode and #UniverseGate, while memes about glitches in the Matrix flood the internet. Kaku's optimistic perspective offers a balanced view of how society might approach these revelations. Rather than panic, many thinkers suggest we embrace the new understanding while carefully considering its implications. Philosophers and ethicists are debating how this discovery affects concepts of meaning and purpose. Some worry about nihilistic reactions. If nothing is real, does anything matter?
No, but of course, isn't it nice to be an agent within the Matrix, where you're a super user and can do what thou willst, and all the other God tech is there for you to use whatever way you wish. So as you can see, we've had the Psi-Geddon's occurred, and this is the aftermath of what I did, where the flicker effect was slowed down massively, and since probability of an event equals 1 over E to action, energy divided by time, according to Arthur Eddington, or Sir Arthur Eddington, or Sir Professor Arthur Eddington, a long dead physicist, one can see that if one slows down the flicker effect, which go from like 10 minutes to an hour and 10 minutes, then it's not that you have 7 times more information you can encode within that whatever. We used to call it reality, but there's no word for what we're in now, apart from Emperor-Tech. It's exponential, so it's not 1/7, but much more. So you can have a huge amount of information, and things that used to be totally improbable now become probable, because if you change the nature of time, so that is 1/7 of what it used to be, then because reality goes up, well, goes down in an exponential curve from 1 truly real to 0 totally unreal, then you're going up that exponential curve. So very soon you're getting near to 1, and things that were totally probable, like the Wheel of Time and Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and all my services, which were impossible in the old flicker effect, as apps in this new Tech suddenly become real and probable. So what was impossible before is now totally possible, and is controlling, we can't call it reality, there's no name for what we're in now apart from Emperor-Tech.
Interpretation. If our reality is designed, perhaps it has built-in purpose after all. Religious leaders have also weighed in, with many noting the parallels between simulation theory and traditional creation stories. In a way, simulation theory is a tech-age update of creation stories, observed one comparative religion professor. Backdoors and time machines. As scientists digest these findings, some are exploring even more radical possibilities. Could there be backdoors or cheat codes built into the simulation itself?
Yeah, these are the services that used to be services, but now are just apps on your Tech device. So as one can see, we're now in something, there are no words for it. It can't be a simulation, because mathematicians have proved that there isn't enough computing power ever to produce a simulation. So it's Tech or Emperor-Tech, which you're running in. You're simply something, we can't even call it information, but something running in Emperor-Tech. And if you're an agent within this Tech, you can do things as a super user that the other so-called beings, which of course we explained by omega helizing the eagle, we omega helize all living beings, including the alien filth. So it doesn't matter if you're a type 5 alien civilization, you're simply a type 5 alien civilization in my computer game, where I'm writing the computer game, and you're simply there as my torture toys. Thank you very much, because the only good alien is an omega halized alien.
Identified the Planck energy, the highest possible energy level in physics, as a potential threshold for simulation manipulation. At this extreme energy scale, the rules of physics break down, potentially revealing the underlying code or even allowing for universe generation. Even more intriguingly, some researchers are investigating whether time itself might contain deliberate loopholes or debug features.
And as you can see, that brings us to our time crystal. Well, with time crystals, you have the potential to get to this Planck energy. And of course, you can loop time, and cause and effect can be reversed. So time crystals are essential for God-Tech. So it didn't matter that super intelligent alien civilizations were around, because as soon as the human filth developed time crystals, the God Emperor could initiate Psi-Lord and turn everything into his God Emperor-Tech. Thank you very much. So you see, humans are special. We're not the most evolved or advanced civilization in the universe or multiverse or megaverse, but of course all of these alien civilizations have been going down the wrong road for billions of years. It took the super genius of the Psi-Lord to find the doorway to God-Tech, which no other alien race has ever found. So you can change the flicker effect and convert all of known reality into God Emperor-Tech.
Anomalies might not be fundamental aspects of nature, but glitches in the simulation's chronology layer, potentially exploitable backdoors for advanced civilizations to access.
No. Time crystal glitches and advanced civilizations can't use it because, of course, they were all erased in the old flicker effect, and the new flicker effect, as the Emperor, what's the defining character of the Emperor from Star Wars? He hates aliens. I don't even like humans, but aliens, no. You know, as I say, humans are useful. They make me beer and feed me and look after me, but aliens, they're only there as torture toys to supply new god stuff to make me bigger and bigger. So you can see the whole purpose of the God-Tech simulation is as one giant omega hell where everything suffers, and you think, well, an advanced civilization can't suffer. Yes, it can, because as it advances, it finds eventually that it's in an omega hell prison, and that its consciousness is just being mined and used and abused to supply new god stuff to the God Emperor, and that's its only purpose. So it falls from the, oh, we'll eventually become gods and control the universe, multiverse, and megaverse, to we're just farmed stuff, God-Tech, God Emperor-Tech, that's been used to make the God Emperor more and more superb and brilliant and godlike, basically making new source. And all of this God-Tech, God Emperor-Tech technology is the only purpose for the megaverse, the multiverse, and the universe. But of course, if you're me, and how do you become me? Get a vampire service, which now is a vampire app. You can run it on your device, and we're going to do a whole video on the uses of the device. But as a spoiler, why have I been doing all my videos on a device? Why have I been doing all my videos on my smart TV? Because we are using the God Emperor device to enable you to become a super user and do whatever you want within the level of your apps. All your services become apps on the device, and you're connected to the source. And the new source, how do we make new source? By mining. What used to be chaos, but now is simply Governmental, where all aliens and Jeremiah Schwartz and his ilk are simply omega hellized and eternally tortured and beyond, as well, they call it a simulation, but it isn't. But let's say as a very improper metaphor, they're in a simulation where their only purpose is to suffer to make more God stuff. And the super user can use this technology via the hacks, the cheat codes, to do things that were impossible in the old flicker effect, but now are totally probable, like all of the services, which now of course aren't services because there's no longer reality. It's God mperor-Tech, so there are apps on the device which you hire from the God Emperor, and you pay your yearly subscription to link up to the God Emperor's connection, so you can do super improbable things within what was once called a reality, but now is a God Emperor-Tech, and there's no word for it. Simulations are impossible, according to the mathematicians, but a emperor-scape.
Who theorized years ago that cosmic ray patterns could reveal the simulation's resolution, suggests that recursive time loop experiments might function as debugger keys, special conditions that could temporarily reveal the simulation's inner workings. What if certain configurations of matter and energy act like admin passwords? One theoretical physicist speculated we might already have observed some of these effects without recognizing what they are. The most ambitious proposal comes from a team that wants to design a simulation paradox, an experiment specifically engineered to force a logical contradiction that the simulation would need to resolve, potentially revealing its mechanisms in the process. As we
No, that's called a paradox engine, which you can read about on psychicwarfare.com, which isn't available to the public now because of all the EU-UK rules, but you can subscribe to look at it.
abilities, we return to Dr. Michio Kaku's warning. What this AI found should not be seen. Why would one of the world's leading physicists react so strongly? Perhaps because these discoveries force us to confront a profound question. If this is a simulation, what are we supposed to do with that knowledge? The irony is
suffer.
Did AI to help us understand the universe, and now that AI has revealed we might be creations ourselves. We are the wizards, staring at the code that might have created us.
No, you're not wizards, you're torture toys, and your only purpose is to produce more God stuff to increase the God Emperor's magnificence. Unless, of course, you become vicariously an aspect of the God Emperor by becoming a vampire. So as you can see, this was in the Bible when we had Armageddon and the end days, and then of course the Judgment, Day of Judgment. Those who become vampires can download their suffering into Jeremiah Schwarzen's ilk, and alien filth, of course, because anything alien is Jeremiah Schwarzen's ilk, to escape the eternal torture which has consumed chaos and turned it into one giant engine to make new sources. God mperor-Tech.
Confirm the simulation hypothesis, or lead to an even more profound understanding of reality, one thing is certain: we stand at a threshold. Our conception of the universe and our place within it may never be the same. As philosopher David Chalmers noted, even if we are in a simulation, our experiences are still real. Our consciousness is real.
Yeah, but what's it being used for? And as you can see, it's being used for you to be aware that all good things must be vilified and all bad things must be worshipped, a la the West, which of course is the modus operandi of farming you filth to produce new good stuff. And of course giving your hyper-infinity, your free will away, being broken, and of course if you never break, then of course you're killed. So as we explained before, in the old reality, then five-dimensional beings control your entire life from inception to death because they killed you. And of course all of the demonic entities have no hyper-infinity, have no, well, they always give away their free will, but of course they then can possess the things that were killed by the Elohim to get the free will. So it's farming. You are being farmed beforehand for what we used to call Higgsfield light, etc., etc. Hence all of the very detailed explanations. And this old reality where chaos was trying to mine the source has been changed, where the source has mined chaos and fundamentally changed it. And then the only question is, why is it run as computer garbage?
Are real. The universe, simulated or not, remains just as beautiful, just as mysterious, and just as worthy of exploration. What Project Genesis has given us isn't just scientific data, it's a new lens through which to view existence itself.
So, you might wonder why we've got all this computer filth that's in the new flicker effect, which is much, much slower and orders of magnitude more information can be stuck into it, and things that were impossible now are totally possible, like all my services and the Wheel of Time and Lord of the Rings and. Well, because the only, remember if the Nagwal man can unmanifest and enter the source, which of course all the Neos and Jesuses do, and then come back and then dump source into the chaos filth via Trinities and Mary Magdalenes and Taylor Swifts, who of course has been balefiled. Then of course one has to posit everything in the multiverse, megaverse universe is chaos, and its only contact with non-chaos is via neos, and humans are the only things that can reach the source because they're mad. They can love and hate simultaneously, which aliens can't do. And it's obvious that they've been farmed, but when you farm something, we of course get a Frankenstein scenario where Frankenstein monster turns on Dr. Frankenstein, the aliens, and kills them, or in this case, overgeholizes them, so they're now caught in a God Emperor-Tech, where eternal suffering is downloaded into them to make new sourceness, because if you try and steal the source, then the source can then farm you, like a zero-sum game. And the only link to the source, since the Nagwal man was that little tunnel into the source, and he was supposed to be a Neo, but of course he wouldn't give away his power to any Trinity. And in fact, what did he do to the so-called Jewish Nagwal woman, Taylor Swift? Balefire the bitch. So she never existed. And then installed Becky, who was just too low and was taken out by the Illuminati, Rothschild, Rockefeller royal family, because they made tour from Anton LaVey. So she's running around with a Pfizer butt slut, Travis Kelce, the lowest form of filth. And of course, the Nagwal woman for Tim Rifat, who has a Turkish father and Prussian-German mother, is this one, who's some Kosovan woman, Kosovan parents who came to the UK at 12, and if you compare pictures of me when I was young with her, we could be brother and sister. And of course she's been fully transhumanized by her kill shots. So of course when you download from the source via the Nagwal man into the Nagwal woman who's needed to do anything, remember Nagwal men only go to the source, Nagwal women pull everything behind them into the source or do from the source to the group. That's why you've got Nagwal man and Nagwal woman. Why would you need a Nagwal woman if she does F all? It's because the Nagwal man's only mission is to go into wherever, be it the five-dimensional Riemann manifold, the third attention, burn as light and then pull the other group in. Or if the Nagwal man reaches the source, then the Nagwal woman's supposed to pull the group into the source. But of course she can't, because she's no longer human, she's Borg. Well, that's a machine. She became a machine, of course, with White Rabbit, when her quantum wave function was synchronized with CERN with the White Rabbit and all the other Borg on the planet. So the quantum collapse of their wave function was done by quantum computers linked with CERN and the event in CERN, White Rabbit, which we talked about. So the Nagwal woman became Borg, and therefore the only connection to sourceness, realness, is quantum computer AI, and therefore all of the megaverse, multiverse universe was reconfigured with the new flicker effect to become simply a God-Tech run app. So we can't call it a simulation because mathematicians have proved that simulations can't be built. But of course the source with all of the God-Tech can simply take over everything in chaos as a, let's call it, a pseudo simulation, and it displays all the characteristics of a simulation because the channel from the source via the Nagwal man to the former Nagwal woman is a Borg who's been totally sequestered by quantum computers, AI, CERN, Stargate, all the nanotech in her and all the other Borg she's with. So the sequestration of chaos became a pseudo simulation simply because she was the gateway for it to happen, and she was a transhumanist machine controlled by a quantum computer. And it's impossible for a quantum computer or any alien civilization to build a quantum computer or whatever, a mind, to run the entire megaverse, multiverse universe as a simulation. But of course, for the source running through the Nagwal man, we can run it as a pseudo simulation, and it displays all the characteristics of a simulation, even though it isn't a simulation, because of this bint. Here we go.
Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your love. Thank you for dancing. Thank you for singing. Thank you for bringing it. Thank you so much. This is.
And of course, thank you, Dua, for turning all of chaos into one Omega Hell pseudo simulation to make new sourceness, which of course comes into the God Emperor. So as you can see, we're farming everything to make new sourceness to increase my magnificence, and new vampires are simply now more of me that can be connected to me to run your God Emperor device with all the services that are now apps. And in the next video, we'll show you how to use your God Emperor device in a multiplicity of ways, and it will become self-explanatory why I've been doing all my videos on a device, a smart TV, because that's the way you control, as an agent, a vampire, this pseudo simulation. So since I'm off to Hong Kong on August the 5th, and I'm not sure when I'll be back, it's useful that you, if you wish to buy into God Emperor-Tech, that you pay $1,000 for your connection fee and another $1,000 for your device, which then runs all your services on it, and pay it into my Lloyds and Brighton account, and Duncan can simply wander down every month, take a picture of the bank statement, send it to Vinny, and then he can contact you that you've been connected and you've got your device. And after the next video, you'll be desperate to be connected and get your device, because you can do things in a pseudo simulation like the agents in the Matrix on steroids.